Well, as y'all can see, it's about daylight 30, and I'm headed up to Chelan to help Victor wrap up a nursery budding job that we've been working on for the last few days. The valley's full of smoke. Some of you have probably heard about the fires in this area. It's really bad. Chelan, the little town of Chelan, which depends largely upon the tourist trade for its economy, is pretty much vacant. I was up here the first part of the week, and I went downtown. It looked like a ghost town. I went down to try and find someplace to buy some masks for my guys that are working out in this smoke, and all the businesses were closed. The motels are empty. I finally went down to the fire station and they gave me some masks, but there's been, I think, 100,000 acres that's burning now. 9,000 people were out of power. There was no cell service up here when I was up here before. I think that's returned now. Just short of 3,000 people evacuated. 75 structures burned, a lot of homes, and a very, very large apple packing facility, which employed 800 people, has burned. Well, I don't know how much of that. My battery just died, so I don't know how much of that you heard, but what I was saying is there is a lake out there. You can't hardly even see the water. You can't see across the lake. So it's pretty nasty up here, but we're going to get this job wrapped up today. I just wanted to come up and help Victor get it finished up, and he's flying out tomorrow at 5:20 a.m. to go back to Zacatecas, Mexico. We're doing apple rootstock and nursery budding. When I talk about nursery budding, for anyone who doesn't know what that is, the growers sometimes plant little nursery plots. That's baby trees, little trees that are just rootstock. They're not of any particular variety. They're just rootstock of a certain size. You might have a quarter tree, half tree, three-quarter tree, whatever their needs are in the way of vigor. You can plant more vigorous or less vigorous rootstock, depending on their soil types, to cause the tree to be in a more productive state rather than a vegetative state. So they choose their rootstocks that are right for their soil types, and then we come in and bud on the final varieties, whatever they want. Okay, explain this budding thing a little bit. This orchard is Gala apples, and all these orchards that you see around this state, everything's on a rootstock. There's nothing just growing on its own root. So a lot of people don't know that, but all these orchards have been grafted. And the way they start out is like this. This is a little nursery we did last year for this client. It's about 6,000 trees. And I think that's the M26 rootstock, dwarfing rootstock. We put on Honeycrisp. So these are the buds that we put in last year, and then they've grown this season. They come in, we put them in right now, and they just heal in this year. They don't actually sprout, but they just heal to the stump. So next spring, they come in and cut the tree off right above that bud that we place on the rootstock, and that forces the bud, and then that becomes the new tree, and that's the variety. Whatever bud we put on is the variety. And this is some Honeycrisp that we grafted on here, budded on last summer, along about this time. And then this past spring, they cut them off and forced the bud that we inserted. And now that's the buds that we put on, is what you see growing out there. And then next spring, they will dig all these trees up and plant them out into orchard spacing. And this will plant probably 30 acres, this little plot here. Here's the next little batch we're doing. By the way, there's the smoke, and my battery's failing me already. I hope to explain this before my battery dies. I may not have enough battery to get through this, but I'll try. Anyway, this is a bud stick. This is what we're using. It's 1 year sucker growth from this year's growth, and this is the desired variety. And set my camera up down here and cut a bud for you and show you how we do this. There's old Victor. I'll say one thing about this. This is honest work. This is hard, back-breaking work to go out there and bend over all day, because these buds go in about 2 or 3 inches off the ground. And it is nothing but good old-fashioned hard work. So let's see if I can set the camera up here and get in frame. So this is what we do. We carry the bud stick out in the field and we slice these buds off. Can you see what I'm doing there? Slice this bud off, and that's what we insert under the bark in the tree. Is just that little bud sitting on this bud shield, and there's the cambium layer is right along the edge of the bark there on the inside. And when that connects with the cambium on the tree, lo and behold, they grow. And I am very blessed that I can still go out there and bend over and do this kind of work. It's not easy. I'm going to pull some video off an old clip that I put up a couple years ago to show you. And I may video a little bit more about putting that bud onto the tree and about how that's tied in. We use these little budding bands or little rubber strip, and they will stretch and not girdle the tree. So there's quite an art to tying those just right as well. And I may get into that a little bit later on. Okay, thanks. When I get a good amount of these little sticks prepped up, I'll wrap it in wet burlap, and we use the evaporating principle or properties, or whatever you want to call it, for cooling. And I'll just tie these up with use a budding strip. This is real high tech, as you can see, but it's effective. I'll get one more on that, and we make up these little quivers from this wet burlap, and this is tied onto the belt. I don't know if you can see that, but Victor had it tied onto his belt, and he just pulls one out of there as he needs it. You always put the end, or the small end, down so that when he pulls it out, it does not rub that little bud or the petiole off. And then we put these on ice. Now that one's, yeah, it's on ice all day, and those will last for about 3 days. Don't know how much was in focus, but anyway, that's our little quivers, our ice, our wood is prepped.
Y esto no tiene que tapar, ¿verdad? Así. Y lo amarramos. Así. ¿Cuántas vueltas siguen siendo? Oh, ¿y para amarrarlo así también? Oh, ¿son 4 arriba y 4 abajo del retoñito entonces?
How's it going, Victor?
Oh,
You sore?
no, not yet.
No, not yet?
No.
You will be. Nice. Careful. Been walking long? You just started.
I just started. Just started like
You and Ray start together?
Like Ray. Yeah. Yeah.
You look like you've done that before. A couple times.
This is my first time.
Oh, really? Wow. You've gotten pretty good at it. Somebody must have taught you how to cut that off the stick like that. That's really nice. Some old gringo?
Yeah.
Alright. Looking good.
Oh shit, you know what I forgot? To give you the right direction to the building.
Oh.
So I gotta go this way.
You gotta go do it back. You gotta go do it over. You're pulling my leg, Victor. What he was talking about is he was telling me which direction he was putting these buds, giving me a hard time. We always put the bud into the wind. That way the wind will force it to go back over the stump and make a nice straight tree. And we got these ladies that are tying here using the little rubber bands, and I'll get a close-up of that a little bit later on. Well, this tree has already been budded, but just in the interest of showing you the process, I hope I'm in frame here. It's really hard to see, but I'll show you how this is done. First of all, it's called a T-bud because you make a cut up and then you cross that across the top and it looks like the letter T. So the way I rock that, I open, certainly I hold the blade, I open up those flaps a little bit, and then that allows for that bud to slip in here, and I'm going to do this slowly. We get pretty quick at it, but in order to show you how it's done, we're doing it slowly. Let's see, I think you can still see that. Yeah, I'll put another one. And then we take the budding strip, start at the top. If you start at the bottom, you can sometimes cause that bud to skid out of the slot. So start at the top and lock that band down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then a tie off. I want 3 wraps below and 4 above. That will hold that bark down tightly and keep the bud from drying out while it heals itself to the tree. So there we go. That's the demo. T-bud on apples, Washington State.